Hello, hi. Welcome to week 1. This week, we're going to be doing our chapter 1 and 2. We're looking at parts of speech for chapter 1. This book is written by Mary Ellen Guffey and Carolyn M. Stiefer. Orientation. How to study business English. Slide 1 of 3. Before reading a chapter, set aside a quiet place and time to study. Examine the chapter objectives and take the chapter pretest and then check your answers. As you read a chapter, highlight important concepts. Write questions in margins to ask in class. Study examples and illustrations. After reading a chapter, review the passages you highlighted. Ask yourself whether you understand the concepts presented. Take the post-test, compare the results with the results of the pretest. Finish all the assigned exercises and check your answers online. Learning outcomes. Understand the content of business English and its relevance, value, and importance to you and your career. Define the 8 parts of speech. Recognize how parts of speech function in sentences. Use words in a variety of grammatical roles. The study of the language fundamentals needed to communicate effectively. In today's workplace, language fundamentals include grammar, usage, punctuation, capitalization, number expression, spelling. Why study business English? To increase visibility among supervisors and colleagues in the workplace, to communicate with customers and clients clearly and professionally, to open up opportunities for career advancement, to write academic and professional documents that are correct and credible, to increase confidence with regard to spoken and written English. Emphasizing in the workplace. This is increasing emphasis on workplace communication. Communication skills in the workplace are more important than ever before. The emphasis on writing has increased dramatically. Messages travel farther and are seen by larger audiences than before. Language skills are especially important in today's dynamic and often digital workplace. Individuals who speak and write on the job represent the organization as well as themselves. Those who cannot write and speak well and accurately are hired, promoted, and valued. Here's the 8 parts of speech that we're going to go over. Nouns, pronouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, prepositions, conjunctions, and interjections. By looking at this circular chart in front of me, do you know what each part of speech means? I would pause here for a moment and test myself. What does a noun mean? Did you say a noun meant a person, a place, a thing, or an idea? Good job. How about pronoun? Did you say for pronoun? That meant it replaces the name of the person, place, or thing, like he, she, them, they, it. Good. How about verbs? What did you say for the definition of verbs? Did you say it's an action word, something that someone is doing, like running or jumping? Excellent. Good job. How about adjectives? What did you say for adjectives? Did you say it's a descriptive word? It describes something, like maybe how tall or what color? I like to think of it like my different senses. The way it looks, the way it tastes, the way it sounds, the way it feels. I like to think of my seven senses, and that's how I remember adjectives. How about adverbs? Adverbs? Yes, usually they modify verbs. Oftentimes they'll have an ly behind it, like quickly and quietly and rapidly. How about preposition? Do you know what preposition means? Good. Preposition means it's a time and place in space. Like maybe it's under or over, behind, underneath, and inside. How about conjunctions? What does conjunction mean? Conjunction is a function that connects words together and also sentences. For example, the most famous ones are and, or, and but. How about interjection? Do you know what interjection means? Interjection are those words that you project, usually when you want to express yourself, like yes, and ouch, and whoa. Good job. You know the 8 parts of speech. Moving to the next section. This is nouns. Nouns name qualities, feelings, concept, activities, and measures. They can be proper or common. A proper noun are capitalized, and common nouns are not. They function both as subjects of verbs and as objects of verbs. Stop there for a second. Do you know about pronouns? Do you know that your name is a pronoun because it's capitalized? My name's Dr. Baker, so my name's capitalized. Your school, university name is capitalized. The city in which you live is capitalized. The country where you're from is capitalized. The country and the state and the city that you currently live in are also capitalized. All of those would be proper nouns. And everything that is not capitalized is a common noun. Here's some more noun examples. Persons. Sophia, Professor Frogley, supervisor, engineer. Places. Barcelona, Yosemite National Park, university, restaurant. Things. iPad, Facebook, convertible, hammer. Qualities. Professionalism, honesty, initiative, enthusiasm. Feelings. Happiness, anger, disbelief, and euphoria. Concepts, knowledge, freedom, friendship, and patriotism. Activities, tweeting, investing, dancing, and eating. Measures, month, thousand, ounce, and kilometer. To determine whether a word is really a noun, use the word with the verb is or are. Sophia is motivated. Barcelona is in Spain. iPads are useful. Tweeting is fun. Now we have pronouns. They are used in place of nouns. Compare the following 2 versions of the same sentence. Without pronouns, Devin sent the text message to Linda so that Linda could read the text message before making Linda's decision. With pronouns, Devin sent the text message to Linda so that she could read it before making her decision. Pronouns may function as subjects of verbs, I, we, and they. Objects of verbs, me, us, and them. Connectors, that, which, and who. Indicators of possession, mine, ours, and theirs. They express an action, an occurrence, or state of being. The verbs are underlined in the following sentences. Stephen presented an exciting new marketing strategy. The verb in the sentence is presented. The verb denotes an action. It contains innovative ideas. The verb in the sentence is contains. The verb denotes an occurrence. He is proud of it. The verb in the sentence is. The verb denotes a state of being. Kinds of verbs. Action verb shows the physical or mental action of a subject of a sentence. Examples: run, study, work, and dream. Linking verb links to subject words that describe or rename a subject. Examples: am, is, are, was, were, be, being, and been. Helping verb used in verb phrases. The helping verbs in the following sentence are underlined. She has been training to become a social media designer. The helping verbs are has and been. Verb usage. To test for a verb, try the word with a noun. Try several action and linking verbs with the following expression. The manager. Some possible verbs you could use. The manager speaks, the manager decides, and so forth. Those are just some examples. If we fill this in, we could put speaks or decides. How about adjectives? We talked a little bit about this earlier. They describe nouns and pronouns. They answer questions such as what kind, how many, which ones. They precede the nouns they describe. The adjectives in the following sentences are underlined. Small, independent, bookstores struggle to survive. We're describing bookstores as small and independent. The adjectives in the sentence are small and independent. We have 6 franchises in 4 states. Do you see them there? I see the adjectives. The adjectives in the sentence are 6 and 4. That chain of cupcake shops started as a small operation. The adjectives in the sentence are that and small. The adjectives a, and the are called articles. They are words that modify verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs. Adverbs often answer the following questions: when, how, where, to what extent. The adverbs in the following sentences have been underlined. Tomorrow, we must discuss our new benefits package. The adverb in the sentence is tomorrow. Rudy answered the questions enthusiastically. The adverb in the sentence is enthusiastically. She seems especially competent. The adverb in the sentence is especially. And as I said earlier, many of them end with ly. Not all of them, but many of them do. Like here, tomorrow does not end with ly, but enthusiastically does and especially does. So many of your adverbs will end with ly, but not all of them, but most of them. Continuing with prepositions, they join nouns and pronouns to other words in a sentence. The object of a preposition is a noun or pronoun. In the following sentences, the preposition changes the relation of the object. Miss Doyle to the verb talked. The preposition are underlined. Anthony often talks with Miss Doyle. The preposition in this sentence is with. Anthony often talked with Miss Doyle. The preposition in this sentence is about. Anthony often talks to Miss Doyle. The preposition in this sentence is to. Using prepositions. How many prepositions do you see in the following sentence? After the accident, Kim went to Hawaii for a vacation in the sun. The prepositions are after, to, for, in. Conjunctions. They connect word groups of words. Coordinating conjunctions, join equal, coordinate, parts of sentences. Coordinating conjunctions are the most commonly used conjunctions. Examples and, but, or, and nor. The conjunctions in the following sentences have been underlined. Melissa, Austin, and Hung are writing a marketing plan. The conjunction in this sentence is and. You may be interviewed by an HR officer or by a supervisor. The conjunction in this sentence is or. Interjections. They express strong feelings, but are usually unconnected grammatically to the sentence. Interjections standing alone are followed by exclamation marks. When woven into a sentence, they are usually followed by commas. The interjection in the following sentence have been underlined. Whoa, did you see her latest tweet? The interjection in the sentence is whoa. The interjection stands alone and hence is followed by an exclamation mark. Oh, I should have known this would happen. The interjection in this sentence is oh. The interjection is woven into a sentence and hence is followed by a comma. Important tip. The same word can function as different parts of speech, depending on how it is used in a sentence. Consider the word serve. We receive good service here. He operates a service station. Did you service your car? All these words are the word service, but the first one is a noun. See how it's used here as a place? We received good service here. And the next one is an adjective. He operates a service station. So it's describing what type of station. Did you service your car? Service in this case is a verb because it is an action word. We're going on to the second. Our second chapter. Thank you for waiting as I transition to chapter 2. Chapter 2 is about sentences. Do you know what a sentence and a fragment is? Yes, a sentence is a word that has a subject and a predicate. And a fragment does not. A fragment is an incomplete sentence. In this chapter 2, we'll be looking at sentences. The learning objectives from chapter 2 are to recognize basic sentence elements, including subjects and predicates, differentiate among phrases, independent clauses, and dependent clauses. Understand how to use simple, compound, complex, and compound complex sentences. Identify 4 basic sentence patterns. Punctuate statements, questions, commands, and exclamations. Use techniques to avoid 3 basic sentence faults: fragments, comma splices, and run-on sentences. As an instructor, I see many students write in fragments and also run-on sentences. Do not forget to use commas. If you forget to use commas, then you may be guilty of comma splices. Or if you overuse your commas. If you find yourself having problems with typing, and maybe you're having issues with the fragments and the commas, I would consider using a program like Grammarly. Grammarly.com, you can find information about it. If you Google Grammarly.com, some of you may already use it. Some may have something equivalent, but if you have nothing that you're using for your writing and you do find yourself having issues with these basic sentence faults, fragments, comma, splices, and run-on sentences, I would suggest using Grammarly. They have a free program you can download. If you need more advanced, then you will probably have to pay. But they have a free version, and I would suggest the free version for the level that you're learning right now. When you go on and you work on like your doctorates or maybe some advanced degrees, you can consider buying it. But for the basic writing essays, I would suggest the free version. Okay, now back to the PowerPoint. The commercial's over. Sentence. A sentence is a group of words that contains a subject, includes a predicate, expresses a complete thought. This chart right here shows sentence elements. We have subject and predicate and completeness. And this is a complete sentence. Sentence elements. Simple subject, a noun or a pronoun that expresses who or what the subject is about. The simple subject in the following sentences are underlined. Teresa will travel to the United Kingdom next year. The subject in the sentence is Teresa. Positions in the companies are advertised online. The subject in the sentence is positions. Complete subject includes a simple subject and all of its modifiers. Sentence elements predicate. Simple predicate, a verb or a verb phrase that tells what the subject is doing or what is being done to the subject. The simple predicates are underlined in the following sentences. Teresa works for an international consulting firm. The predicate in the sentence is works. Google has launched a Google for Work app to help Americans find jobs. The predicate in the sentence is has launched. Complete predicate includes a verb or a verb phrase and its modifiers, objects, and complements. Verbs in the predicate may consist of one word or two or more words. In the following sentence, a simple subject is underlined and a simple predicates are set in boldface. A new CEO of the company introduced herself and outlined her future plans. We see the word introduced and outlined. The simple subject in the sentence is CEO. The simple predicates in the sentence are introduced and outlined. In a verb phrase such as will attend, the principal verb is the final one, attend. The other verbs are helping or auxiliary verbs. Writing complete sentences. Sentences are complete when they have subjects and predicates and they make sense. In the following examples, the simple subjects are underlined and the simple predicates are italicized. Smartphone manufacturers persuade us to upgrade our phones regularly. The simple subject in the sentence is manufacturers. The simple predicate is persuade. Although smartphone manufacturers promote new versions with new features, the simple subject in the sentence is manufacturers. The simple predicate is promote. Even though the subject and predicate are present, this example does not make sense and thus cannot be considered a sentence. Recognizing phrasing and clauses. Phrase. A group of related words without a subject and a verb. In the following sentence, the subject is underlined, the verb phrase is italicized, and the prepositional phrases are set in bold font. The conference attendees are coming from different parts of the world. The subject in the sentence is attendees. The verb phrase is are coming. The prepositional phrases are from different parts and of the world. Recognizing phrases and clauses. Clause. A group of related words with a subject and a verb. The clauses have been underlined in the following example. Their corresponding subjects are italicized, and their verb are set in bold font. We considered 4 locations, and we decided to choose the downtown one. The first clause in the sentence is, we considered 4 locations. The subject in this clause is we. The verb is considered. The second clause in the sentence is, we decided to choose the downtown one. The subject in this clause is we. The verb is decided. Recognizing phrases and clauses. Independent clauses and dependent clauses. Independent clauses can stand alone as complete sentences. Dependent clauses rely on independent clauses for their meaning and cannot stand alone as complete sentences. Identify the independent and dependent clauses in the following sentence. When she arrived, she introduced herself. If she was afraid, she didn't show it. In the following sentence, a dependent clause is underlined once and the independent clause is underlined twice. The subjects for each clause are italicized, and the verbs or verb phrases are set in boldface. If the company meets its quarterly sales goals, employees will receive bonuses. The dependent clause in this sentence is, if the company meets its quarterly sales goals. The subject is company. The verb is meets. The independent clause in this sentence is, employees will receive bonuses. The subject is employees. The verb phrase is will receive. Four sentence varieties. Simple sentence contains one independent clause with a subject and predicate. In the following sentence, the subject is underlined and the predicate is italicized. Our CEO announced the restructuring plan. The subject is the CEO. The predicate is announced. Four sentence varieties. Compound sentence contains two or more dependent clauses, may be joined by conjunction, a semicolon, or conjunctive adverb. In the following sentence, the independent clauses have been underlined. Their corresponding subjects are italicized, and their helping verbs are set in boldface. The team project was challenging, and we were happy with the results. The first independent clause is, the team project was challenging. The subject in the clause is project. The helping verb is was. The second independent clause is, we were happy with the results. The subject in this clause is we. The helping verb is were. Complex sentences contains one independent clause and one dependent clause. Introduced often by words such as although, since, because, when, and if. In the following sentence, the dependent clause is underlined once, and the independent clause is underlined twice. The corresponding subjects are italicized, and the verbs are set in boldface. When we finished the team project, we held a team party. The dependent clause is when we finished the team project. The subject is we, the verb is finished. The independent clause is we held a team party. The subject is we, the verb is held. 4 sentence varieties. Compound complex sentence contains 2 or more independent clauses and 1 dependent clause. In the following sentence, the dependent clause is underlined once and the independent clause are underlined twice. The corresponding subjects are italicized and the helping verbs or verb phrases are set in bold font. Although this team project is completed, soon we will begin work on another, semicolon. However, comma, it will be less challenging. The dependent clause in this sentence is although this team project is completed. The subject in the clause is project. The helping verb is. The first independent clause in the sentence is soon we will begin work on another. The subject in this clause is we. The verb phrase is will begin. The second independent clause is however, comma, it will be less challenging. The subject in this clause is it. The verb phrase is will be. Pattern 1, subject, verb. This is the most basic sentence pattern. The verb follows its subject. In the following sentence, the subject is underlined and the verb is italicized. We agree. The subject is we. The verb is agree. Pattern 2, subject, action, verb, object. The subject is followed by an action verb and its object. The objects of action verbs can be direct or indirect. The indirect object is a noun or pronoun that answers the question what or whom. Subject, Savannah. Action verb, collected. Direct object, the registration fees. The sentence reads, Savannah collected the registration fees. The next subject would be he and the colleague, action verb, interviewed. Direct object, an expert. Together, this sentence says, he and a colleague interviewed an expert. The subject, the accountant, action verb, provided. Direct object, accurate financial figures. The sentence reads, the accountant provided accurate financial figures. An indirect object answers the questions to whom, to what, for whom, or for what. Subject, Netflix, action verb, promises, indirect object, customers, direct object, seller service. Together, this reads, Netflix promises customers stellar service. Our next one says, subject is the technician, action verb gave, indirect object, the device, and direct object, a checkup. Together, the sentence says, the technician gave the device a checkup. The next subject is we, action verb bought, indirect object our parents, direct object an anniversary gift. Together this reads, we bought our parents an anniversary gift. Pattern 3, subject, liking verb, complement. The subject is followed by a linking verb and its complement. A linking verb expresses a state of being and links to subject words that describe or rename the subject. A complement is a noun, a pronoun, or an adjective that renames or describes the subject. Subject, the business professor. Linking verb is complement, Claudia Elkman. Together this says, the business professor is Claudia Elkman. Next subject, Arek Puza. Linking verb will be complement, our team leader. Together this says, Arek Puza will be our team leader. The next subject is my favorite author. Linking verb is complement he. Together this says, my favorite author is he. The next pattern for inverted order. In inverted sentences, the verb comes before the subject. In the following sentence, the verb is underlined, the linking verb is italicized, and the subject is set in boldface. Overseeing the new project is Kanika. The verb in the sentence is overseen. The linking verb is, and the subject is Kanika. In the sentence here, we can see Kanika is the subject, but she's also the noun. Moving to the next section. In questions, verbs may come before subjects or be interrupted by subjects. In the following sentences, the auxiliary verb is underlined. The subject is italicized and the verb phrase is set in bold font. Where should the invoice be sent? The auxiliary verb in this sentence is should. The subject is invoice and the verb phrase is be sent. In sentences beginning with here and there, the normal would order is also inverted. In the following sentence, the linking verb is underlined and the simple subject is italicized. Here are 4 new applications for the social media marketing position. The linking verb in this sentence is are. The simple subject is applications. Punctuating statements. A statement makes an assertion and ends with a period. Laws require truth in advertising. Questions. A direct question uses the exact words of the speaker, requires an answer, and concludes with a question mark. How many hours do you spend online each day? Commands. A command gives an order or makes a direct request and ends with periods or occasionally with exclamation marks. Lock the front door. Exclamations. An exclamation shows surprise, disbelief, or strong feeling. What a great job he did. Sentence fragment. An incomplete sentence may be a phrase or a clause punctuated as if it were a complete sentence, may be broken off from a preceding sentence or succeeding sentences. Avoid fragments by making certain that each sentence contains a subject and a verb and makes sense by itself. One can remedy fragments by joining them to complete sentences or adding appropriate subjects and verbs. Example, fragment. Because Zara controls every link of its supply chain, that is why it has become one of the world's biggest clothing retailers. Revision. Because Zara controls every link of its supply chain, comma, it has become one of the world's largest clothing stores. So usually we don't like to start with these type of sentences like because, right? And then that, we're missing the comma here. Let's look at sentence faults, comma splice. Comma splice results when two Complete sentences are incorrectly joined with a comma. Commas alone cannot join sentences or independent clauses. Comma splices can be repaired by adding a conjunction, separating the thoughts into two sentences, changing the comma to a semicolon. Example comma splice. Ruco went public in 2017. It raised $219 million in funding on the first day of trading. Revision. Ruco went public in 2017 and it raised $219 million in funding on the first day of trading. In addition to the comma, the conjunction and is added to the sentence. Now, this one is the run-on sentences. Many students are guilty of this one. Run-on sentence joins two dependent clauses without proper punctuation. Can usually be prepared by separating the thoughts into two sentences, adding a comma and a coordinating conjunction, adding a subordinating conjunction, adding a semicolon. Example, run on. The work ethic in America is not dead. It is deeply ingrained in most people. Revision. The work ethic in America is not dead. It is deeply ingrained in most people. Well, this concludes today's PowerPoint, and I'll see you in class. Thank you, everybody, and have a great day. See you in class. Bye.